when I said I wanted to win 8 gold medals, basically half the people in the swimming world thought I was absolutely crazy and nobody could ever do something like that. But for me, I was somebody who believed in it and somebody who believed in the process of getting there. I knew it wasn't going to happen overnight, like I said before, but every little small thing that we did was a small stepping stone in order to even be able to have that chance and that opportunity to do what I did in 2008. So
it was 2014, Sports Illustrated cover story with Tim Layden, and we're having an interview here in Phoenix, and whatever question he asked me just opened me up, dropped my shoulders, and I just let it all out. I was just ready to. You know, I think for me, when I checked myself in to get treatment and to get help, I knew that that's what I needed, and I was at the end of the road, and I had to get help. I was at a scary place in time, and for a long time, I didn't know how to ask for help. I think once I asked help for the first time, everything became easy. So that question, when he asked me, whatever it was, it just opened me up, and I felt comfortable to share everything that I'd been through. Because it was almost like I said to myself, I don't care what people think. This is me, and this is my journey, and it makes me who I am. So, you know, the only way for me to learn and grow and to get over certain things that I've gone through is to communicate and to talk about it. And look, I'm not perfect, right? Like, nobody's perfect, and I struggled a lot through my life. My first depression spell was in 2004. And I went up and down roller coasters all throughout life. I think it's vulnerability. I think vulnerability is a scary word for a lot of people. It's a scary word for me. You know, I remember when I checked into a treatment center, I was shaking when I went in there. Because I didn't know what I'm getting myself into, but I wanted help. I didn't like feeling the way that I did.
Every day is a new challenge, right? Every day is a challenge, is a day that we can prepare ourselves even more. So for us, we would call it putting money into the bank. So at the end of the year, when we had a major international competition, we could withdraw that money that we had saved throughout the year. And look, I'll be the first one to tell you, there were a lot of days where I did not want to get out of bed. And I guarantee you, if I ask the question here, if everybody is excited to get out of bed every single day, if I saw a hand, I'm going to blatantly call you a liar. Because we all know that is far from the truth. But if you have those little small goals, those little small things that get you excited when you don't want to, it's going to make it even better and even easier at the end when you're getting ready for a presentation or the end of the year or this or that, whatever event you're leading up to. It's going to make it so much easier. And I think if you look at the greats in anything that, in any walk of life, the greats do things when they don't always want to. And that's the separation. For me, that's what I've found. So, you know, when I say from 2002 to 2008 was basically trial and error. So for me, in 2002, that's really when I started amping up my event schedule, where I was swimming 4 to 5 individual events and having a couple relays at Pan Pacs, World Championships, major international competitions throughout that time frame. Because at that time, at the Olympic Games, that's a tough, that's where I think the real truth comes out, because I think there are a lot of people who are very talented who can make it there. There are very few people who can deal with the pressure and the stress that happens when we're there. So that's why I say we had to make sure that we were physically, emotionally, and mentally ready, because I had to be ready to be able to kind of manage my emotions through that week. Yeah, winning a gold medal is absolutely incredible. There's nothing better than standing on the podium listening to your national anthem play after you had just won a gold medal. But for me, I'm somebody who I knew that I had 7 other events after the first day. So I have to throw that in the back of my head. I got to throw that race out. Even though if even like in 08, I broke a world record, won my first gold medal. Like, I was like, cool, like things are starting really well. So I have to put that behind me to then get ready for the next race. And on top of that, I have to make sure I'm eating the right amount, I'm sleeping the right amount, my body is as fresh as I can possibly be. So that means sitting in an ice tank, getting massages, getting stretched, all of these small things that end up adding up to the major end result. And because I can sure as hell tell you that there were days where I hated my coach. There were days where we got in fights, we got in arguments, we couldn't stand what we were doing. I would do things purposely to piss him off, but that's a different story. But I think that was just really how we worked. Like, he was somebody who was so perfect for me that if I ever would have swam for anybody else, I never would have had the chance to do what I did, because he challenged me in ways and forced my mind to think differently. For me as a kid growing up, I'm huge into music, and music is a big part of my life. And I'm a huge Biggie Smalls fan, and he wrote a song called "The Sky Is the Limit." And as a kid growing up, I believed that. I believed that whatever I put my mind to, and if I was willing to make sacrifices and I was dedicated, that I could achieve absolutely anything. I still do.
I think every person can really define it in their own way. I mean, I think it kind of really determines on what they want. At the start of it, for me, when I started this whole journey, it was with a goal of breaking a world record, winning an Olympic gold medal, becoming a professional athlete. Those were the goals that I had as a little kid. So for me, that was what excellence was. And once I was able to get there, I had to redefine what excellence was. And that's basically what I did my whole life. So for me, I guess it was kind of goals, because goals were something that played such a huge part in my everyday life. From the moment I woke up until the moment I got into bed, they were somewhere where I could see them every single moment when I was in my home. That's what really got me out of bed. That's what helped me on days where I was struggling. So I think goals are what really drove me and what made me try to become as excellent as I possibly could. So I came back from the 2000 Olympic Games as a 15-year-old, and after the Olympics is usually when people take time off, where they take a break, they relax for 3 to 6 months, and then they get back into it. For me, I was into it the next day after the final of the 200 fly. I was 5th place, I was 3/10 out of a medal, I was upset. So I used that as motivation leading into the next year, and the very first day that we had a practice, my coach put WR on the top right-hand corner of the paper. WR meant world record. I was a 15-year-old kid. I was like, oh yeah, I know what this is, but why is this, what's this doing here? Like, why are you putting this in the upper right-hand corner? He's like, we're gonna break a world record in 6 months. Sure enough, 6 months later, I break my first world record. So I'm like, okay, like this is starting to get really cool, like starting to get fun. And by this point, every world record I broke, I got to buy something. That was my deal. I was a professional athlete at 15. I had signed my first professional deal, so when I signed with an agent at 15, I told him that I wanted to change the sport of swimming. So I wanted to do something that the sport had never seen, but people had never seen. The globe had never seen. And to be able to have that opportunity, I had to be able to do things differently. I couldn't do it the same way that everyone had done it before. So for me to go 5 or 6 straight years, that meant I had 52 extra days a year. So, but also in the sport of swimming, if you take 1 day off, it takes you 2 days to get back to where you were. So, if somebody takes off on a Sunday, they're not back until Tuesday. So they're only getting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as where I'm getting 6 years straight. So I'm getting that much more ahead of them. I'm getting that much more work. I'm in that much better shape. And that's what I had to do.